Hey friends, and welcome back to Raising Your Prices Challenge. I am Elena Motonono, and I help online language teachers work smarter and come up with new and creative ideas to increase their revenue and build a business that is sustainable and smart and manageable. Today, now that you have learned so many things about how to raise your prices, how to position your offer, how to repackage your offer in a way that is more sustainable, I'm going to dive into the topic of bringing or onboarding new clients. And many of us, when you do one-to-one classes, or maybe you do coaching, you bring in new clients through discovery calls. And that can be a really frustrating thing when you do a lot of discovery calls and you sell almost nothing. And this is a good thing because that shows to us there's an opportunity to learn. And personally, I know when I used to do free trial sessions, as that's what I called them, free trial lessons, or later discovery calls as I was coaching, one of the things I was doing is I just went with the flow, which there's nothing wrong with going with the flow. However, sometimes going with the flow does not bring you the results that we want. We come in unprepared. We maybe are prepared in some way, but we are not necessarily focused on what is the end result of this time. Are we giving the most in this slot, however long you decide for it to be? And are we giving in such a way that we expect that the person gets really enthusiastic about working with us and jump on board? So obviously, because we are not really good at it in the beginning, we are going to make a lot of calls, make a lot of mistakes, go back and learn from the mistakes, which is going to be my next video of how to do that, process that, and get better. And so it's really important then that when we have our discovery call or free trial lesson, we have a framework, that we don't just come in and say, okay, we're just going to give you a test, a language test, or I'm going to figure out what you need and create a plan for you that you can then take and use on your own. Or I can give you information that will, in the end, not help you because you'll get tips, but you will not get your empowerment or your support that you need to overcome your fears that are, for the most part, holding our clients back. So let's go to the page today, and I'm going to show to you a simple, really easy way of bringing people in and helping them realize what the benefit is of working with you. So in the middle here, we're going to position our computer as a sign of a free call. This is where you bring people in. Now, I am one of those people that will tell you that, oh, you can do it via email, and you can. And I even have a long track record to show you how to do that. I have courses on that. However, it's always kind of a shortcut for you. It's always easier to bring people on a free call because you get a chance to talk to them and they get a chance to hear you. And they develop their trust for your work and your services. And this is something that usually holds people back. They don't trust. And so you bring in your new client in a free call. And I don't know how you do your free calls, but the way I used to do them with ESL clients is I would give them a little task so that they could read through, a little text and discuss the text. And then I would tell them, okay, here are your mistakes. And if you're going to work with me, you're not going to have these mistakes. That's probably the overall thing. But one of the things that really helps people to not just recognize their mistakes. They already know that they have mistakes. They come to you recognizing that they can't fix that on their own. So your goal is to show them exactly where they are at the moment, or to ask them rather to tell you where you think they are at the moment, and then help them and show them how to get to a new place. It's kind of very similar to when people hire a web designer, and good web designers do mock pages. And what they do with mock pages, they will show what your website is going to look like after they're done working. And so if you are able to do that, you can pretty much sell your services. This is what you're going to do with your clients. They come in to you and they're over here. They may be scared. They're not where they would like to be. This is their before. Well, obviously, they start working with you. This is where they are now. Now they came to you. This is kind of different. This is a step of trust, but you still have to explore where they are now. And this is going to be there before they start working with you. And it's very important to explore that. And usually they come in and they're scared. And that's why I show them in this kind of blanket over a blanket. And they have lots of responsibilities and lots of thoughts and all of these things that are keeping them away from where they want to be. And where they want to be is here. They want to maybe achieve their goals. They want to be able to speak. They want to be able to travel, whatever else people need in order to go, whatever people need to gain to improve their language skills. So they're here. Maybe they're going to travel after this. Okay. And they are really happy that they can speak the language thanks to you. But right now they're here in the before. And the thing is, what I used to do is I would have them read the text, for example, and then I would tell them, okay, here are your mistakes. But telling people their mistakes is not really helping them. It does not move them from the before of the scared person. It does not move them past the fear. What does help them is to show to them what they need, what steps they need to take to go to the after where they want to. So right now they don't speak for a number of reasons. And that's what you are going to explore in the session using several questions. You can ask them, where are you now? In other words, where are you now in your language learning journey? What are you struggling with? What are your biggest concerns, right? What do you think, where would you place yourself on a scale of from 1 to 10, 1 being I'm not where I want to be, and 10 being I'm exactly where I want to be? And usually they're not where they want to be, and they will tell you that themselves, which is really amazing. You don't have to come up with that stuff on your own. Then you continue asking them, what keeps you from getting there where they want to go? What keeps you from getting there? What keeps you from getting to a 10? What are some of the things that are in the way? And the last question is really important. How do you explain to yourself why you're not there? This is gold here, because this is where people will tell you, oh, well, I'm not there because I've been looking for a teacher, or I'm not there because I start and then I stop, which is a stalling technique or of the brain that keeps you away from taking risks. That means that a person is really timid about getting to where they want to be. Okay, so they will tell you that all of these, they will answer these questions on their own. And that is really good because you're putting them in the retrospective mode. You are engaging not their survival mode, not their fears, right? Not their shame that, oh, look, you've got all these mistakes. That's the way I used to do. I felt like, oh, if I just show to people what mistakes they're making, they surely want to work with me. And of course, some people do want to work with you, but really, our intrinsic motivation, it does not come from fear, or at least it's not long term. And if you are driven by fear, eventually you will burn out and deal with a lot of other issues. Okay. So how do you explain? This is where you hear all the stories. Oh, I'm just too old and I don't remember. Oh, I never learned a language as a child, and that's why it's harder for me. And then you will hear all the justifications. Listen for justifications, listen for blame. People will say, well, it's because I don't have language courses in my town, for example, or it's because my family is not really supportive of me. My wife does not let me start and learn a lesson, all kinds of things. And so based on that, you can start building this little pathway that they can't create on their own, that will allow them to go from where they are in the before, right, to where they want to be after in the future. And this after is going to be after they work with you, obviously. So there are certain steps that people need to take that you are going to help them take. And then you describe what those steps are, and you almost are giving them this prescription. It kind of sounds like medical, but it is going to feel that way. So in order for you to get to where you want to be, we first need to work on your mindset. If you feel like you're old enough, we're going to work on that. Is it really true that people that are old cannot achieve fluency? Is it really true? Look at people, that's not factual. So how do we change that type of thinking? We're going to work and develop your own schedule and tracking. And I am going to give you a tracker, which I give to all of my clients, that will help you stay on track towards your goals. I will also make sure that you are going to follow my recommendations, and I will support you through the system or structure of classes and packages that I created. And this is where you start talking about if we work together. And this is where you start telling them, okay, if we work together, here's what it's going to look like. And then you list things that we are going to meet once a month, for example, twice a month. I'm going to support you through Telegram. And it is very important when you're describing your packages, particularly if your package is not your standard one-to-one classes package, you need to explain to them not just this is how I work, but also why this is going to work. Tell them, okay, working with voice chats is really more helpful to you because it gives you more opportunities to practice every day, as opposed to only practice for 1 hour a week, which does not give you the results that you want and not as fast, because we want to come here. And so when the person listens to it, then they will be more open to say, oh, okay, so how can we work together? And this is when you tell them the price and you ask them, are you ready to embark on this journey? And this is where you get to hear a lot of people saying, yeah, I mean, this is really cool. It's going to work for me. And then you will hear also some people say, well, but what about this? And how about this? And it's a great opportunity for you to work with people's doubts and people's fears and show to them, okay, here's how this is going to work. And again, go back to, this is where you are, right? And you haven't so far been able to get to where you want to be, to travel and talk to people and to be able to feel confident in the country that you would like to go to. You can, of course, choose not to invest or not to go on this journey, but you know what that means. It means that you're stalling on your dreams. And how are you? And people might usually say, well, maybe I will look for somebody else. Yes, and that gives you just more time and opportunities to stall and not do and continue being in this before, as opposed to trying how you can get to the after. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly show you and review this again with you, that when a client comes to you into a discovery call, it's very important that you are ready with this framework. You're ready with questions, you take notes, you're listening to them. So the way I used to do that is I used to just, show to people their mistakes. And mistakes kind of work, but the result of showing people their mistakes is that they're going to be fearful and they're driven by fear when they want to work with you. And you do not want them to be driven by fear because, again, like I said, it's not a sustainable way to learn languages when all they feel like, well, if I don't do this, I'm afraid this is going to happen to me. So you want to take them back whenever they tell you, well, but I'm not sure, but I don't have the time. You want to take them back to anytime they give you a justification for why they're not doing or they're not good enough at the moment. You want to take them back. Okay, so this is the story you're telling yourself. And what I'm hearing you say is that you keep finding new stories to stall yourself from getting to where you truly want to be in the future. Why is that? And when people have an opportunity or are given an opportunity to think about their actions and what they're doing and what they're saying and how actually, in fact, it keeps them away from getting where they want to be, they become more reflective and their decision making then becomes more aligned with their desires rather than fears, in which case they're going to work in a more sustainable manner and they are going to achieve the results that they want with your guidance. Well, I hope today's session was helpful. Now that you have the framework for your free call or whatever you want to call a discovery call, free trial lesson, now you know what to focus on when new clients come to you so that they get excited about the changes that they need to make and they enroll in the journey with you. If you want to dive deeper into any of these topics of raising your prices or ask me questions about business, I have monthly free Q&As for people, teachers that would like to build their sustainable businesses. There is information about these calls in the description. I hope that you sign up. And when you sign up, you get a link to book your spot. I am looking forward to seeing you there and to connecting with you. And in the next session, it's going to be just really, really helpful because I will walk you through a new process of how you deal with failure. How do you deal when people say no to you? Because they are going to do that. But for now, thank you so much for tuning in and have a wonderful rest of the day.